What's going on? Freehole here. I just wanted to make a quick guide on the hideout and show you what a max level hideout looks like, what they all do individually, and why you should level up your hideout as you go to try to make a little bit of passive money. So we're just going to go through them all in alphabetical order first, and then kind of give you some tips on making money. So with the air filtering unit, as you can see, I don't have anything in there right now, but if I was to add one of these filters, what they do is for the next 20 hours, it will boost the leveling of my physical skills by 40%. So what the physical skills are, you can go to your character and actually see them. Go to skills and then show physical. So these 6 skills will be leveled 40% faster as I'm playing for the next 20 hours. Whether I play or not, the boost will last 20 hours exactly. So that's really good if you need a certain strength level for the hideout or for a task or a health level. You can put that filter in for your long gaming sesh, and then hopefully you'll have most of it knocked out by the end of it. Moving on to the next one is going to be the Bitcoin farm. Now this is like by far the easiest way of making a good passive money. With 50 graphics cards, I make 1 Bitcoin roughly every 5 hours, and it'll store up to 3 of them for me, so I can wait up to 15 hours before collecting them. If I wait more than 15 hours, then I'm just wasting potential money because it won't continue to make more once there's 3 ready to go. So this is when I highly recommend putting at least 1 graphics card in and leaving your fuel on, and you'll make a little bit of passive money. Moving on to the booze generator. This is one that I don't really use anymore now that I have a lot of the streamer items that I needed. Any item that you produce in the hideout is going to be considered found in raid. So I can, for example, buy 2 sugars and buy a purified water and make a moonshine, and that moonshine will be sellable on the flea market, as we mentioned in the previous video. It'll have that little check mark that says found in raid. So one thing that you should do every time you're going to craft something in the hideout is check the price of these items. So we need to see what 2 sugars cost. So we use our same filters as last time, exclude bartering offers. So we see here that they're roughly about 80,000 on the high end. So we'll say 160,000 for this, plus what the water costs, 75,000. So we'll say roughly 230,000. And what we're making is worth 220,000. So in this situation, it would not be worth it to make this to sell the moonshine, especially considering that when you put something on the flea market, you do have to pay a fee. So just always be on the lookout for that. Prices fluctuate, especially on the weekends, so this could change. This is always subject to change, so always double check. Moving on to the generator. You have 3 levels of the generator. The first level lets you put 2 fuels. Second level lets you put 4. Third level lets you put up to 6. You can use the blue or the metal fuel tanks, and it'll let you know how much time it'll be in there for. What's different about this compared to the air filter unit, you can actually take these out. I wish that was something that they would add to the air filter, but as of right now, it only works on the generator. So moving on to the heating. The heating is going to increase how much energy you regain per hour. So you'll regain 14 more energy per hour. So your character in total will regenerate 113. And the negative effects removal rate will be minus 50%. So I think that's something that's going to be later, for example, with like radiation and things of that sort. So moving on to the illumination. This really will just change what the lighting looks like inside when you have your generator on. In addition to that, you do need to have your illumination at a high enough level to upgrade other things. So this is the one that you're going to want to max out regardless anyway. Intelligence Center. This is one that's really, really important to get if you're doing some tasks. Right here, as you can see, you can turn these 3 items in, make 3 flash drives. There's a couple of quests that ask for flash drives, one from Skier and one from Jaeger. So doing it this way, these flash drives will be found in raid and you can turn those in. Another quest for sure is going to be, there's a couple for Peacekeeper that he wants a Vertex programmable processor, and I believe this right here, the signal transmitter. and the 3 graphics cards for mechanic. Now these do take a long time to craft, and if you have your generator off, they do take even longer. I don't know if I can show that here. No, it actually won't show it unless I'm crafting. But I can do that for you just now. Let's go ahead and see how long it would take to make these flash drives without any sort of fuel in the generator. Here we go. So we'll buy those 3. And now you do have to have your generator on to start it. So you can start it. And it'll show you right here how much time we have left. So 34 hours. If I turn my generator off once it's started, it won't cancel it, but it'll add a lot of time. So 228 hours as opposed to the 34 we had earlier. So it is really beneficial to have fuel in the generator at all times, in my opinion. So I'll turn that generator back on. Move on to the next one right here, which is the lavatory. These actually do not need the generator to begin crafting, so you can craft these even if you're out of fuel. Always just, if you want to make profit, and the way to do it is to just go through all of these individually on your own, because prices fluctuate, so I don't want to give you a full guide. You can just go right here, filter by the item, check the value. So 10,099 versus what 6 of these cost, so that'd be about 12,000, roughly 11,000. So you can make about 1,000 there, or a little less than 1,000 there. But go through all of these and see what they're worth. See, check the soap and the water, see how much that's worth versus 2 shampoos, and that's really the main strategy for making as much money as possible in the hideout. So we will do just one more as an example. I'll check the price of soap. We'll say it's about 10,000, and then I'll check the price of the water, which is about 12,000. So we'll say 22,000, and the price of shampoo is 14,500, roughly about 15,000. So we can make about 10,000 or 8 to 10,000 by doing this trade right here, this craft. But there could be plenty more money to be made. You just want to go through all of these. The point is to not be lazy. Just take your time, go through, check all of them, and then that way you'll maximize your money per time. So moving on to the next one, the library. Additional raid experience by 15%. That's really good, especially if you're under level 40. That way you can get to your traders as fast as possible. And it'll level up your practical skills by 30% faster as well. So to check the skills again, just go to character, skills, filter by practical. So it's going to be your surgery, your search, your covert movement, and your mag drills. So any kind of boost is beneficial, so we'll definitely take that. So moving on to the next one, the med station. This is going to be one that's really important in the early game. There's a task that requires Celoas. You can make Celoas here for dirt cheap. You just need these 3 items and you can make a Celoa. It's found in raid, you can turn them in. Same thing with the morphines. You're gonna need morphine syringes for a task. Later on down the way, you're gonna need a defibrillator found in raid for a task. So this is one that you're basically losing money if you're not making something here. If you're not always making something in this med station, you're wasting money. So for example, I mean, we'll make a Celoa. We'll see that. So that was 2,000. The splint costs about 2,600. So we're at 4,600. And the painkillers, they cost about 4,100. So we're at about 8,700 for the price of a brand new Celoa. If we use our filters the right way, 100%. And they're sitting at about 12 to 15,000. So that's easy profit to be made, or if it's something that you're going to use anyway, I mean, you're much better off making it than purchasing it because it's a lot cheaper. So moving on to the next one, nutrition unit. This is another one that's really important. If you're going to need to turn in these little cans of Tashanka to therapists, you can make them right here. Wilston cigarettes are needed for mechanic on and raid. You can make those right here. And other than that, If you have all those tasks done or aren't working on those tasks, there's money to be made here. You just have to do, like I said, on all the other ones, check the price of the 3 items you're using, or 2 items, or 1 item, whatever you're using, and check the price of what you make, and I'm sure there's always money to be made. Moving on to the rest space, negative effects removal rate, again, we don't care about that. Energy and health regeneration. This is big if you don't heal your character after raid. If you can't afford to, or you just choose not to, your character will be ready to go a lot faster. So for example, you could not heal your character, do a scav run, and your character will be healed a lot more than it would be otherwise. Maximum energy reserve. That just means that instead of having 100 energy, your character's going to have 110 energy down here in the bottom right. You can see the little lightning bolt. I have 110 rather than 100. So that's a good little bonus. Moving on to the scab case. This is a more late game type of thing when you're going for, I guess, your Kappa container items and things of that sort. This is basically gambling, because you'll spend, for example, on this top one, 85,000 rubles. You might not get stuff that's worth that much back. You may not. So I say if you're struggling for money, basically stay away from this. If you're going for streamer items for the Kappa container, you can do the moonshine or the documents. They have the folder of intelligence, or you can do the 85,000. But by that point, you should be well off on money anyway. And yeah, just basically use this one at your own risk. This is not part of my strategy for making money to a new player, is basically what I'm saying. Moving on to security, this does nothing. It's just kind of just like you need to have your security upgraded to be able to upgrade other things. Your shooting range, that's a really important one. That's good for when you start building guns. You can take your gun that you built, go into the hideout, and you can actually walk in here and explore, but we're just going to go straight over here to keep it short as possible. And you can test out your gun. There's no way to reset the targets or anything like that, so these dots that are there are going to be there regardless of anything. You can reload, try out your pistol, do whatever you need to do. Move on up, check out what your spray looks like, things of that sort. So that's the shooting range. Solar panel, all that's going to do is make your fuel last twice as long, to keep it simple. So your metal fuel tanks, instead of lasting 24 hours, they're going to last 48 hours. So I can show that real quick. See, mine here lasts 48 hours. Moving on to, we were on the solar power, so we'll move to the stash. Upgrading the stash just makes your stash bigger, plain and simple. If you already have the Edge of Darkness account, you're going to already have this at level 4 and won't be able to upgrade it anymore. So moving on to the vents. Again, this is just something kind of like the lighting and the security, something that you need to level up to be able to level up other things, so not much to it there. Water collector. Now this is one that I really highly recommend that you always have a filter in. With these water filters, you will make purified water roughly every 5 hours or so, and the price of the water filter compared to the price of the purified water is the purified water is more expensive, because the water filters will last and make more than just one. So you can make about 1.5 to 2 purified waters almost with one filter. So that's one that I would just always recommend always having one running. Moving on to the workbench, this is a really important one to have because it allows you to use weapon presets. Again, you can check the price of items and build whatever you need, and if you need any of these items found in raid, for example the motors or the capacitors. But other than that, it adds an additional benefit of letting you work on your guns in a different way. You can actually go and, for example, if I wanted to build an ADAR, I can open up the stock preset, and I can go in and test out a different build and see the stats. So for example, if I wanted to put a nice, let's say a holographic sight, and change the front, and I can see what stats I'm affecting with every change I make. So I can change Even changing the magazine will change the stats somewhat. So this is a really important thing to upgrade as fast as possible, in my opinion, would be the workbench. That's the one I probably use the most because I like using the weapon presets to build my guns. Moving on to the next one. Oh, that's actually the last one. So yeah, I wanted to keep it as short as possible. I know we've gone about 15 minutes here. But if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them down below, or leave them in the Discord, or find me live on Twitch. All links will be in the description. And leave me some suggestions for some other videos. I'd love to hear what opinions you have and things of that sort. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.